welcome to Stacking the Shelves for the last week. This is going to post on January 7th, and these are the books I got for Christmas, as well as some additional review books that I got. I know I mentioned my last Stacking the Shelves, I got a ton of review books. There were a couple more that came through that were a little slow compared to the other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the review books first, and then I'll get into the gifts I got, and then a couple that I borrowed from the library. All right. So I got 2 books for review. Both of these, well, I guess one comes out February, one comes out in March. The first one is Flower Heart by Catherine Bakewell. I got this through NetGalley to review. This publishes March 17th, and it's a young adult fantasy novel about a girl who has it sounds like kind of a wild magical power involving plants. She accidentally poisons her father and has to go get assistance to learn how to control her magic. Young adult fantasy. It's compared in the blurb. It is compared, they say people who like Tamara Pierce will really like it. So I used to be a big Tamara Pierce fan. I haven't read much of her stuff lately because I think I've read most of it already. So that should be a good one to review. The second one I got for review is The Pearl Hunter by Maya T. Black. This one comes out February 7th, so I'll be reading and reviewing it fairly shortly. Again, this one is kind of a middle grade young adult, it sounds like, about, it's a fantasy, sounds like has more of an Asian type of feel to it, so we'll see how that is. I haven't been reading a ton of middle grade young adult fantasy, but these should both be interesting reads. And both of those are debut novels, so they're both debut authors. Both Catherine Bakewell, this is her first book, and Mia T. Black, this is her first book. So there you go. I did get 4 gifts, and shoot, I'm just gonna get up and walk back and get them because I forgot to bring them over here. So here you go. All right, I might as well show you these as physical book copies because I can. Okay, so the first one I got is a Tilly Walden graphic novel, Are You Listening? She wrote another one that I really liked. Oh, On a Sunbeam. So I really liked On a Sunbeam. I wanted to read some of her other graphic novels. I have already read this, and it wasn't as good as On a Sunbeam, but it was still well done. It's kind of a magical realism road trip type of thing where one of the characters is running from something pretty awful and disturbing, and it takes a while to find out what's going on with her. So yeah, that was well done. Got that one. I got one other Tilly Walden one, and that is Spinning. This is Tilly Walden's memoir of growing up doing figure skating or something like that. And I enjoy memoirs, and I thought it would be kind of interesting to read. So looking forward to that. Third one I got as a gift is Life is Strange, Volume 1, Dust. This is by Emma Vicelli, Claudia Leonarda, and Andrea Izzo. I don't know much about this except for it sounded cool. I put on my wish list a couple years ago, I think. So looking forward to starting this graphic novel series, and I hope I like it and can continue on with the series. And then the last one I got for a gift is another graphic novel that I didn't realize was this big, but it is pretty big, and that is Lighter Than My Shadow by Katie Green. This is another memoir, and it's about a woman who grows up with an eating disorder, as far as I know, and kind of her lifelong struggle with it. So I think it'll be a good read. A lot of heavy graphic novel reads this year, but I didn't realize this one was quite hefty. All right, so then those are the gifts I got. I tend to like to read my graphic novels in physical format, and so I don't really like reading them in ebook, so I ask for them for gifts a lot of times. All right, the next book I got was an audiobook that I borrowed from the library that I'm currently listening to, and that is The Peach Keeper by Sarah Addison Allen. Allen also wrote the Waverly Sisters series, which is Garden Spells. Those books. I've been trying to kind of go back through and read a lot of her other books outside of that series because I really enjoy that series. And I think The Peach Keeper is the only one I haven't read. And this is on my top 20 books I wanted to read in 2023. So when that comes out, you'll see that. I think that comes out in a couple weeks, that video. The next two are also ones I got from the library, but not on audiobook, just ebooks. The first one is The Black Tides of Heaven, which is Tenorite Book 1 by Neon Yang. This is another one I have on my top 20 books I want to read in 2023. I've had it on my list to read for a long time, and I just really like to get to it. And it's more of it sounds like an Asian influenced kind of epic fantasy thing. And then the last one I got was also from the library, and that's Thistlefoot by Gina Rose Nethercott. And this is sounds like a story that deals with Baba Yaga's descendants. They inherit her house, the Chickenfoot hut that is part of her mythology. And I just really like Baba Yaga's mythology, so I thought it sounded really good. It's been getting pretty decent reviews. And I had it as another top 20 book I want to read in 2023. So those are the books. So that ends up being 2 books for review, 4 books for gifts. So that's 6, 1 audiobook, 7, and then 2 from the library. So 9 books in the last week. I won't be getting that many, and this might go back to being less frequent than weekly. I was kind of going through my reading stats. I did read 100 and I think it'd be like 165 or whatever. The stats will post on my blog. They should have already posted on January 1st. Yeah, so I read less books. I think last year I read over 200. I read like 160 something. I had my goal 150 this year. Or maybe it was 175. I can't remember. Anyways, I exceeded my goal. I read less books than last year. I've actually been a little bit weird in that I'm trying to read less books a year because I got a little obsessed about reading and kind of let a lot other things slide. So the last few years I've been actually trying to read a little bit less. So I set my reading goal this year to 150, and I think that's what it was. I think it was 175 books in 2022, and I read like 186. I set to 150 in 2023. Part of me reading less was the whole studying for the patent bar thing. I spent a lot of time doing that. So I should have more free time to both read and play video games as we go into 2023. We're on the end of winter break here as I am recording this, which is always kind of sad. I've been off work since I think December 21st. So it's going to be hard to go back. I don't go back until Tuesday, so I'm recording this on Sunday the 1st, and I have one more day of vacation after this. Yeah, I got quite a bit of stuff done. I got a few books read. I did finish Moss Book 2, the video game. I think I finished another video game. Anyways, yeah, so it was fun. I started playing some new video games. I got the Myst VR that I'm working on, but I played Myst when it came out on the computer back in, I think it's 93 or 94, and I forgot how boring it is. I know people will hate that I'm saying that, but it's a wonderful puzzle game, and I really wanted to go back and play it again because I thought it'd be like super nostalgic, and I remember loving it back in the early 90s. And it's just real slow and kind of boring, and the puzzles are challenging, especially when I played it on the computer, I would like take notes as I played it, and you can't really do that in VR. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it or not. I've put maybe an hour into it, and I think it's a 6 or 7 hour game. So we'll see. I don't know about that one. I might go ahead and move on to a different one. I have I Expect You to Die. I have Arizona Sunshine to play. I have Ancient Dungeon to play. So I have a lot of other options right now, so I might save that for later. That being said, we had very nice weather the week between Christmas and New Year's. It was in the mid-30s here in Minnesota, so we really enjoyed that. The streets are clearing off some and getting to go out and walk again. Even though I do know my crampons on because it's pretty icy, but we are supposed to have our snowstorm coming Monday, Tuesday, which hopefully won't be too bad. My son has his first behind the wheel instruction on Wednesday, so it'd be nice